and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows. And God says, I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and a large, upon a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites and all of the mites. 17th verse. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites unto a land flowing with milk and honey. Follow me now to the book of Numbers, the 13th chapter. And I'm going to read the 16th verse. It says, and these are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called Oshia, the son of Nun, Jehoshua, Joshua. And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, get you up to this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land that it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many, and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, or what cities they be. They might dwell whether in tents or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it is fat or lean, or whether there be wood therein or not, and be ye of good courage, and bring of the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. 23rd verse says, and they went unto the brook of Ascol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes that bared it between two upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs, and the place was called the brook of Ascol, because the cluster of grapes which the children of Israel cut down from them. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. But the Bible story turns a little bit. It says, 28th verse, nevertheless, the people be strong and dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of the Anak there. The Amorites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Aramites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. But let's keep reading. The 31st says, but the men that went up with them said, we're not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants, the son of Anak, which come to the giants, and we in our own sight were as grasshoppers in their sight. Let's visit the 14th chapter of the book. Let's visit the 14th chapter and let's read. The 20th verse. And the Lord said, I have pardoned according to my word, but surely as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord, because all those men which had seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I dwell in their fathers, neither shall any of them that would provoke me it, but my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him and followed me fully. Him will I bring into the land thereof. He went, and his seed shall possess it. Now the Amalekites and the Canaanites dwelled in the valley. Tomorrow return you and get ye into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, and says, how long shall I bear this evil congregation which murmur against me? And I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmured against me. Now let me go down to the 32nd verse. But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in the wilderness, and your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years, and bear your whoredom until carcasses be waste in the wilderness. After the number of days which ye search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year, shall ye bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and ye shall know that my breach of my promise. And they rose up early in the morning and gat, 40th verse, unto the top of the mountain, saying, lo, we are here, and we go up into the place which the Lord has promised, but we have sinned. The 41st verse says, and Moses says, thereof now go ye transgress the commandment of the Lord, but it shall not prosper. Go not up to the Lord, 42nd verse, among you, that ye be not smitten before your enemies, for the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and ye shall fall by the sword, which ye have turned away from the Lord. Therefore the Lord will not be with you. But let me keep on reading. But then the Amorites came down, and the Canaanites, which dwelled there, the hill, and smote them, and discomfited them, even in Homar. But the emphasis that I want to put on this morning, I read that for the benefit of you who don't read the Bible, but I'm going to tell you the story. It's very important for you to know the story. It's a dangerous thing for God to put you in restoration and you miss the mark of getting there. Tell somebody, say, it's time for restoration. It's time for restoration. Clap your hands in the presence of the Lord. Amen. You can be seated in the presence of the Lord. I took that time and just went there because I know sometimes we have a tendency that when one is speaking, we do not know it all at all as to how things came about and how they will end. But you notice I started with a promise. Pastor said something that blessed me this morning. He said, this is my season for restoration to obtain the things that slipped through my hands the first time. But this time, I won't miss. Look at somebody say, this time, I won't miss my moment.
I won't miss my moment.
Clap your hands in praise. I'm so glad that we must understand, and I think sometimes we forget that we are soldiers, and it is important to armor up for a battle at all times in every season of our life. For the Bible says in 2 Timothy, the 2nd chapter, around the 4th verse, says, no man that warreth entangled himself with the affairs of this life, but rather he must understand that you've been called to be a soldier. And since you've been called to be a soldier, you got to endure hardness like a good one. Actually, that verse is the 3rd verse, 2 Timothy, 2nd chapter, the 3rd verse. But I said the 4th verse before the 3rd verse because you need to understand I'm a soldier. And if you understand I'm a soldier, I'm going to endure hardness. But I got to have a certain attitude and enduring hardness. But being called as a soldier, there are many benefits that goes with being a soldier. You're trained to win. Soldiers are never trained for defeat. Rather, they do train for retaliation, but they never train for defeat. And I believe that it's in the mind of God that in this month, because of what the Lord birthed through our First Lady, I believe it's in God's mind for us to go and take a peek at what the enemy thought he would have, knowing that God has already spoke to me a word before my personal war. And the word he gave me that I'm going to obtain everything I see. I won't miss nothing this time. I'm going to receive what he promised me. So now we must understand that if I'm going to war, I need to be armored up. Yeah, the only reason why God released us on the recon mission, because we've been trained to win. Tell somebody, I've been trained to win. You might have not thought it, but I've been trained to win. The boot camp that I went in the boot camp, and there God fully armored me up. We started with my head because we can think crazy. I'm going to put a helmet of salvation on it, first of all. Then I know you get in your feelings. Since I know you get in your feelings, I'm going to give you a breastplate of righteousness. I'm going to let you guard your heart because there's going to be some people come while you're in the spiritual war that's going to shoot you. Or going to shoot at you, and they're trying to shoot at the things that hurt your heart. So I'm going to give you a breastplate of righteousness. But I cannot stop there. I gotta allow you to be armored up from your head to your toe. I gotta let your loins be girded about with truth, so that when they lie on you, you'll have the truth walking with you. You'll have the truth attached to you. Oh, thank you, Father. Who is that truth? Jesus says, I am the way. I am the truth. And I am the light. So that when the enemy comes to attack you, you know you got Jesus, the truth, that's walking with you. I can't leave you there because there are some places that you're going to go in. There are some places you're going to be invited in. You're going to walk in a place that's totally confused. So I'm going to put peace in your feet so that when you get there, the peace of God will be multiplied when you step in the area. But no man can really fight just being armored up, Tonji. You gotta have something in your hand. Yeah, the breastplate of righteousness, you got to have a sword in your hand. The sword of the Spirit. Because God said, not only will be your sword, but you need something to shield you. When the enemy say it won't happen, and God has already shown you what shall manifest, you need to have a shield of faith. So now God says, since you're armored up, I'm sending you on a mission. And the mission that I'm sending you on, I want you to go and peep and go look at what the enemy thought he was going to do. Hallelujah! Because of your personal experiences, your personal attacks, your personal persecutions, your personal trials and errors. The enemy had the tendency to think that just because you messed up, God changed his mind. I'm so glad the Bible is true, for the promises of the Lord is yes. Amen. So thank you, Abraham messed up from the floor up, but it didn't stop promising grace. So your mess-ups can't stop what he promised you. God fixed it. He fixed it in his plan. A righteous man, you may fall, but you won't be utterly consumed. Because the Lord said, I'm going to be there to pick you up every time. So now God says, I'm going to send you on a mission. That's what he did, the children of Israel. He had fulfilled his promise that he gave to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that after 400 years, your descendants is going to be in a strange land. And they're going to have to serve the people in the land that they're placed. But after 400 years, I'm going to bring them out with great substance. So now, the children of Israel has experienced the promise that God gave to Abraham. They stayed in Egypt for 430 years. And in 24 hours, good God Almighty, after a 430 year stay, the Lord sent a certain type of plague called death to get them out of what they're in. I'm so glad God has an unusual way of delivering us. And his plans is not like our plans. And whatever we think in it ain't nothing like how God thinks. God will let somebody die so you can live. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, glory to God. When I think about Dr. Smith, how God has a way of letting somebody die so somebody else can live, that's how Abraham heard God. God let his father die while he was in a paganistic land, and when his father Terah died, who carried him there. After he died, God had a way of getting Abraham's attention. Said, now you can come out. The person that was holding you hostage, I've taken care of them. Lord, help you, girl. I've taken care of your own daddy. He was the one that brought you to this paganistic land. But what I'm going to do, since it's your time to come out, I'm going to let him die so you can live. That's when Abraham hears God's voice and said, come from among them. I know y'all like saying that when the Lord tell you to come out from your kinfolk. That's because you don't like it. So when you don't like your kinfolk, you be glad to see the Lord told me to come. Yes, he did. The Lord told me. But if you understand the scripture and how it was set up, it was nothing about none of that. It was about God had a man that he wanted to birth greatness to. So he killed his hindrance and called him out. Talk, girl. I think I will. So give God some praise. He tells Abraham, said, after 400 years, I'm going to deliver them and I'm going to give them their own land. I got a setup. I'm going to bring them out with great substance. So now the children of Israel in this dispensation now in my text, they already came out of a place of not enough. They're presently visiting a place of hardly enough, called the wilderness. They just left Egypt, the place of not enough. Now they're visiting the wilderness, place of barely enough. But their God anoints Moses to say, there's more to what God told us, because God said while we were in our season of not enough, while we were in Egypt, the Lord told us we were going to live long. That he was going to enlarge our territory. He was going to make us big. He was going to send us where tall men were. He was sending us to the mountain country where the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, they lived in mountain country. And the children of Israel didn't know nothing about living on the mountaintop. They only knew what it like to be in the valley. But I like the valley because lilies can grow in the valley. Because all the water on the mountain has to come down in the valley. Talk, girl, I believe. So even while they were in the valley, and God let them experience a dryness, but yet supplied water when they needed, because that was just a temporary state, because God was getting them ready for the mountain. Yeah. God said, I'm going to take you where the Canaanites are, where men much taller than you, where things are much larger than you. And there, God said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to drive your enemy out, and I'm going to give you their possession. So now, after they have received the promise, they're now in the wilderness area getting ready to go over and get their stuff, the very thing that God had promised that shall be theirs. So now Moses says, I'm going to choose some people I know qualified for this mission. Yeah, I'm going to choose some people I know trained. These leaders, they're trained. They're trained for battle. They're trained to be humble enough to follow war strategies. They're trained. I'm going to send people that's trained. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to send them to spy out the land. Oh, just to see what God has for us coming. I'm going to go, I'm going to see somebody. I'm going to send trained people. People that can handle a giant. People that don't mind, oh my God, taking things that they need just to show the others what to expect. I'm going to train. Yeah, I'm going to send trained people that are skilled and ready and equipped for the mission. So the Bible says he chooses a leader out of every 12 tribes. Certainly, if anybody can handle, oh my God, a recon mission, going into the enemy's camp and seeing what the enemy has, just to know what you can expect, certainly that's a leader. Certainly leaders that have a leadership ability, certainly they will be the one. They're closely connected with the leader that serves them and the leader that's leading them. Certainly if anybody will know the right things to see and the right things to say, it's those that's connected to me. Yeah. So the Bible said they go and spy out the land, because his instructions was not to fight, but rather to see what God has on his agenda for us. See if the land where you dwell, see if the land is small, if it's great, if the people are great. See how the grapes are, the clusters of grapes are. See about how big the pomegranates are. Yeah, see how the cities are, if the cities are fenced, or see how the walls are. Just go and check out the land, and just to see if it be fair, if it has the ability to produce. Go and see what God is giving you. The Bible says, and they went to the valley of Shechar, the place where clusters of grapes was. And God knows when to send us to spy. Because when you go and revisit the text, God sends them in a season where the grapes were already ripe. Lord, I'm going to keep talking. God got a way to send us to spy out what he's about to release us to in a season when it's flourishing. In a season where harvest is already taking place. And it isn't by chance that God chose this time of the year to put us on a recommission. Because this is the time of the year for things that have been hid in the ground. They're busting up through the ground and they're producing greatness. Yeah, there's a harvest you can really obtain in this time of the year. So God has a sense of humor. He'll send you at a season he knows harvest is going on. And I believe that somebody needs to touch somebody on the shoulder and say, by the way, it's harvest time.
It's harvest time.
Yeah. So now the Lord sends them to Shikar in a season where the grapes was already ripe. They didn't have to do nothing but take it and leave. God Almighty. They didn't have to do nothing, do no hard labor. Just simply go by and and leave. Yeah, glory to God. I need to tell 18 people, I pray that you can hear me prophetically. The Lord said, this is the season that you're going into the enemy's camp, and you're going to take it and leave. So now they came back. Lady Jones, they came back and they came back with a cluster of grapes. And when they came back and returned to Moses and told them, but they came back with evidence of what the people can expect to have when they get to the place where God is assigning them in this season. They simply brought back the clusters of grapes to show them what it's going to look like in your promised land. Yeah, so you can know what to expect. No longer will you live smaller than your test. You'll live greater than your moment. And it is so. Glory to God. So now the Bible says that when they brought back the grapes, the leaders began to display what God was about to introduce him to. And but Moses did not see the level of excitement that he thought they should have, all 12 of them. Rather, he only saw excitement in only 2 that were connected, all of them. It'll be like that sometimes. One would think if God is about to release me into something that's bigger than me, at least I ought to celebrate what's coming. But he didn't see that excitement he thought he should see. Thank you, Jesus. He didn't see that excitement. Matter of fact, 10 of the leaders said, yeah, here it is. We have the clusters of grapes. I mean, you asked for evidence, and we brought the evidence to you and to the people that God's going to allow to obtain this. But my acronym for but is better understand this. Yes, we have the evidence of what's coming in our hand, but right now, Lord, I'm going to hurt somebody. Don't worry, I have scripture band-aids. Right now, God is positioning you to go get your cluster of grapes. But you've been operating with a bud. Don't worry, it's going to get better. Yeah. They said, but I have what he promised me, but I don't know how I'm really going to obtain what I'm holding. I'm holding promise. He promised that we would live large. He promised that we would live large in a land that was flowing with milk and honey. I have the evidence in my hand, but Moses, I saw, well, this is corporately what they said, we saw some giants. We saw some people bigger than us. We saw the giants hovering over our stuff. Yeah, we were able to bring this back to show to the people what to expect from the promise. But we saw some giants that was hindering the process. And when we saw the giants, we also saw ourselves. We saw ourselves as grasshoppers with a promise. No, it ain't gonna back. We saw ourselves with what he promised, but we also saw giants that was hindering process. Because they were bigger than us. I think we serve a God that already knows your end from the beginning. And God didn't speak to you because of who you were. He spoke to you because of who he is. And God has never released a promise allocated on your present condition or your position. He's God. And nobody can stand beside him. He said, yeah, Moses, we saw it, but we also saw the giants, and when we saw them, we knew that in their eyes, we were like grasshoppers. But the Bible says, thank you, Caleb. When I get the glory, I'm going to tell him, thank you for being a witness that wouldn't allow his present position or condition make him lose faith about what God said. Caleb said, yeah, and I'm glad. I like the way the Bible reads, especially the King James Version right there, because the Bible said another spirit is among him. Yeah. Caleb had a spirit of faith. Yeah. And it's something about when you operate with faith, you can see the impossible. You can see more than what's presently presented to. Yeah. Faith to let you see stuff that's not there and wait on it to show up. So Caleb wasn't concerned about the giants because that wasn't his concern. Because he already knew God never releases us into any arena until he has anointed us to win. Caleb didn't know how God was going to take care of the giant, but it really didn't matter because he was operating on promise. Now, if 17 people heard me, and you won't pay attention to the giants that's around you. simply operate on because he promised me. He would deliver. He promised me. He would be a healer. He promised. Caleb was operating on promise. He wasn't afraid of no giants. The song wasn't written then, but I could imagine, the bigger they are, giants fall. The bigger they are, the bigger the impact when they fall. Concerned about no giant, he was celebrating promise. And I declare and decree that another spirit, like the spirit of Caleb, will come upon this house. That no matter what they see in the season, and no matter what giants they see in their season, it won't stop them from taking back the things that God has promised them. Let your hands. Caleb said, Moses, let's go up at once. We got everything we need. They got the hype, but we got his word. Let's go up at once. We don't have to handle this. God has already said, I'm going to drive them out when you get there. I'm just letting them cultivate what's yours till you get in place to handle it. Yeah. And Joshua, I'm going with you to obtain my stuff. One of the saddest things about a season where God has every intention on releasing you to greater, you doubt his ability because of what you see and because of what you're going through. Tasha Cobb sing a song and I like it. She said, he knows my name. That's a good thing. But the power of him knowing your name is that you know who you are since he knows your name. Caleb and Joshua said, Moses, let's go up at once. But 10 of the leaders who should have been connected and understand the spirit of one that God had given a word to lead them, they should have had a good report, but rather they allowed the giants they saw to change their faith concerning against their God. The only thing that can stop you from getting in the place of promise in the time that God has allocated is you doubt his ability to do what he said because of where you are. And because the majority had an evil report, God simply says, since it took you 40 days to see what's yours, I'm going to put you on hold for 40 years. But I'm going to hold the promise, God Almighty, till you can handle it. And when we read in the book of Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter, we'll find Moses now understanding that we're at the 40th year. And we have completed the cycle that the other leaders caused them to have. Can I tell you something as a point of information? Be careful who you connect with this moment.
Watch out now.
Because you might connect with somebody that sees giants, and all you see is what he promised. Because the people you connect with that see giants, they won't stop what he promised. But they'll allow it to be put on hold. They were at the season where God was about to let them go and retrieve the promise. But they let the conversation of some more people change their faith from trusting their God. And they discredit his ability to be larger or smaller than the giant. But after 40 years of wandering in a place, the 8th chapter of Deuteronomy says, now the Lord says, I led you through this wilderness these 40 years. I did it on purpose. God said, the reason why I did it because I needed to know what was in your heart. Because while they were in a 40-year transition, God was killing out everybody that was in the process when they ended their course. I know y'all don't like that, but God had killed them. But the Lord told Moses, I'm going to kill everybody. Everybody older than 20 years, I'm going to kill them out right before you. And then I'm going to give you a mountaintop experience. I'm going to kill them in your valley.
Watch out, man.
I'm going to kill them while you're in your valley. So you won't have to hit them. So you won't have to deal with them when you get to the mountain. It's harder to deal with folk on the top. Because they have the same power you have. They can execute some things like you can execute some things. They have power and influence like you. So it's hard to kill folks on the top that's leading. Lord, I'm going to say it like I want. Y'all won't talk about it. Because just like you got coons, they got coons. That's all right. So the Lord says, I'm going to kill them while you're in the valley. But now 40 years has passed in Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter. The Lord said, I led you here. I needed to know what was in your heart. I needed to teach you that man don't live by bread alone. Man does not live by the provision that has been given to him. But if you're going to live with what I give you, you're going to have to live it by depending on every word that comes out of my mouth. You got to learn to lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways. You got to trust me in all your ways. And then you got to acknowledge me in all your ways so I can direct your path. Now that I see what's in your heart, I'm going to release you to what I told you. And the reason why I told you the Bible story that way, I went back and forward, because I'm trying to set you up. Hallelujah! For you to understand the season you're in now. Yes, God! Yes, God! And the season, yes, God. Now I want somebody that now, after she get through saying, yes, God, she just enjoying herself. Ain't nothing wrong with enjoying herself. I'd rather enjoy herself here than walking down the street on the lawn naked. She just happy. But I want you to listen to this. Now, just sit down for a minute. Don't make you stop praising God. That ain't it. It's just that I want you to sit down for a minute. Don't worry, I'm going to let you shout. Just sit down and then we're going to give God praise. Y'all leave him alone. Leave him alone. Just know this. I can handle anything around me. I can do this, Lord. I just want her to celebrate like she celebrates. Because you don't know where it might be cutting, and she might be saying thank God, or it might be lifting her up. Y'all just leave it alone. Let her praise God. Rather she praise God than come back in here with 357 man and try to shoot us, because I ain't gonna die. So I'd rather that she just give God the praise. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now the Lord rescued out of something. Where is it? She just glad she been rescued. And I ain't got a problem with it, but I want her to be quiet right now so I can feel it. Thank you, Jesus. That's how it is. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Because y'all been saved. And I want you to hear all of this. This has been the setup. God birthed what we need to do in this season so that we can obtain everything He released for us in the season. So now what God is saying for us to do, go get it. Go get it. I'm sitting here on a mission to see what's yours. But when you see it, bring it back when you go. Lord, I'm talking right now. The mission for us in this season, yes, to go see what's on the enemy camp that belong to us. But also when we see it, shut up. Do like Caleb and Joshua did. Bring something back. And the reason why the Lord said you can bring it back, because the harvest is ready. The harvest is right. And because it's harvest time, the Lord said, I'm sending you in the season where I know things are being birthed and produced just Moses sent them at a season he knew that the grapes would be ripe. And the only thing they had to do is carry out the mission. Go and see what your enemy has, so you can know what God is giving you and how large you can see how God is releasing you to live. Look at somebody and tell them, say, it's my time to shine. It's my time to shine. It's my time to shine. It's my time to dance. It's my time to praise. It's my time. It's my time to be restored. It's my time for everybody connected to me to be restored. The Lord set the mission up for me to win. All I got to do is go into the enemy's camp. Lord, I wish I had 7 praisers right now. Yeah, I'm going with a certain attitude. Yeah, I'm going to know that I'm ready to handle what I'm going to bring back. Yeah, I'm going in spite. I don't care who don't believe it. I'm going if I have to go by myself, because it's my time to shine. Yeah, it's my time to live. Yeah, it's my time to experience restoration. It's my time. The harvest has already been set. Now the Lord should carry out the mission. Don't look at the enemy. They can't stop you from getting what's yours. Oh, I felt that thing that time. Go into the enemy's camp around your enemies. They can't stop you from getting stuff that God said your name is on. I believe what he promised. And since I believe what he promised, I'm getting ready. Shatta, oh, shatta. The stage has already been set. Now I'm getting ready to go. Grow. Glow. Clap your hands. You might want to turn around and look at somebody and say, so long, bye-bye. So long, bye-bye. Goodbye to my pain and my sorrow. Yeah, I'm going to get myself so long, bye-bye. It's my time to shine. And I'm going to get my stuff. Somebody said, I'm saying so long, bye-bye. See ya later. We want to be. I'm going to get promises that I thought God had put on back on me. Because of the tests and trials that I've been going through. I thought it was on back on because I saw the enemy in great power. And I had a tendency to think that what he promised me, he had put it on back on. But now that I've been released for this recon mission, yeah, I see him spreading like a green bay tree. But I'm taking another look. And this time when I look in the same area, I'm going to see what he promised me. And that same that I thought was going to be my hinder, I'm going to see God do what he said in his word. I'm going to mow it down. God got a spiritual lawnmower. And the way God cuts, he don't cut on top of the grass. He cuts down in the root. I'm going to see my enemy wither away. And I'm going to look for him. Because I thought that enemy was going to be the one that hindered the process. But since God is about to let me see the reward against the wicked, that enemy that I thought was going to hinder me is going to be part of the process of God delivering what he said to me. Tell somebody, say, it's my time to shine. I got to get out of here.
My time to shine.
It's my time to go get my stuff. Since God has released me, I'm getting you away. See you at the top. See you at the top. The right crowd. Thank you, baby girl. You need to tell somebody, say, excuse me. I'm going to see you at the top of the mountain. Because I'm going where he promised me. And nothing is going to hinder my promise. You or your cousin or your mama or your daddy's side. Ain't nobody going to hinder my I'm going to get my promise. Now I need to talk to some real praisers who say, man, I ain't shouting because the music is good. I see what he's releasing to me. And I know now that no giant can stop it. Can nothing stop my release this time. Even the stuff I will go back over. I see myself going to get it all back. Yes. And when I get there, I'm going to talk to my seat and say, I want it all.
I want it all.
I qualify through my suffering to obtain my restoration. And I want all of my stuff back. Today she's not just shouting because the music sounds good. I don't know a story and we hadn't talked in quite some time. But what I do know, she's in the season of restoration. And everything that you saw a truck take away, the Lord told me to tell you, you're going to get all of it back. Put your hands lifted up. There are times and seasons that sometimes, Brother Amy, we have to prime people. And when you understand what the priming process is, if you've ever seen anybody prime a well, they simply be pushing down and pushing it down so that whatever is on the bottom can find its way to the top. But this is not the atmosphere of this house today. I don't have to prime you. The word has come today to assure you that you won't miss what he promised because of the time. And so I need to talk to the real praisers where the real praises are. Now everybody that's praising now, they had to go through something to get to the promised land. Now you gotta understand, the children of Israel had went through like 40 years of losing relatives. They lost relatives, they lost friends, they lost cattle. They lost gold. I know they lost gold because somebody decided, let us make a golden image right here in the middle. They lost gold, they lost it. They lost a lot of stuff. But now they made it through the 40th year. The time of transition. Your trial, your tribulation have put you in the season of transition. The Lord spoke to me at home. The Lord said, this will be your month of transition. What was somebody else's, God's going to give it to you. They will hold it in love.